This is part of the process of evolution, the burning through the fire to rise into the phoenix. And just come back to your heart and know that you're here. You came to be here. You chose to be here in this time now. So nothing is too hard for us to go through. And we go through it better, united.
Welcome back to the Power and Purpose podcast. I'm Vanessa Soul, your host. Thank you so much for investing your time and your energy into tuning in today. I'm super excited for today's guest. We have Serenity. She is a spiritual mentor, NLP master practitioner, channel, and messenger dedicated to unraveling truth from illusion. Serenity, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Vanessa. What a beautiful introduction.
Yes, I almost said, and she goes by Serena as well. I almost said Serena and Serenity at the same time. Let's kick off this beautiful conversation with my signature question. You can answer this in any way that your heart's desires. And I know you do channeling, so you might channel your message. Who are you and who are you not?
My birth name is Serena. I am also Serenity. The highest frequency of light that evolves into my 3D avatar is Serenity. So when I am in my Serena, my identification, my egoic self, I am that. I am the programs that I have lived. I have my environment, my upbringing, my surroundings. I'm in the moment. And when I am still and connected and open my mind and my heart, I allow so much to flow through. So that's Serenity, the conscious connection. So the short answer is I'm everything and I am nothing simultaneously, depending on where I focus, which direction I'm focused in.
I love that.
Nothing is such a small word, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like I am a little insignificant speck in the universe as Serena, but connected, I'm everything, right? Like we all are.
Tell us about your journey from model socialite to what you call spiritual weirdo. What was that like? How long ago was that? And how does that connect to your journey now?
I call myself a very curious cat. I came from a small town and I have just was curious and was like, yes. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Just like, let's try that. Let's go there. I'm just a very curious individual. And I started modeling when I was very young. I made my way to LA. I loved the social scene, did the clubs, dancing, just all of it. You know, it was very like, wow, especially the Hollywood scene, right? It was just so glamorous and unreal. That's the word for back then. It was unreal. So traveling and all the things, but I found, Vanessa, that it didn't really feed my soul. It was very short-lived, right? Like it's like the high of buying a new car or getting some new clothes or something. It's like, yes, that immediate fulfillment, but it's not a true fulfillment. It's not a lasting one. And it's physics. Every action has equal and opposite reaction. The joy and the high you get from an emotional, physical love bomb or shopping bomb, right, has another side. It's like, that's on the other side. So what I found in my journey is that the true fulfillment is in the stillness and just connection of really knowing who you are and opening to that grandeur that I was talking about earlier. And that has been a long journey that set me on a truth-seeking mission to study just so many different things, like so many different religions, so many different modalities, energy work. And I started going to energy schools a long time ago when it was such a weird thing to talk about, taboo. We're like, what? Energy? It was like, in reality, we are all energy, but just because we can't see it, people don't focus on that, right? So I started my practice a long time ago with energy healing, and people just didn't really get it. So then I studied neurolinguistic programming, which is, so we've got the left brain, the right brain, right? And it's like we have the emotional aspect, the feelings, experiences, and then we have the story of those. So And the left brain NLP is about going into the basement, identifying the story and being like, there's an emotional there. There's a program, a pattern that we are reliving, but we're not really consciously aware of it, right? It's like a ship, and the crew is the subconscious and the captain is the conscious. Captain can go, I want to go here all day long, but until they're congruent and communicating, the crew is going to keep going the way it's been programmed to go.
Mm-hmm.
Very much how
Mm-hmm.
we operate, right? So I've just been very fascinated with learning these things and these tools. And yes, we can do a quick energy healing, but also to understand it in the mind is how we have equanimity. So that's been kind of my journey. And there's a lot of it, kind of a lot to talk about.
I could relate too, because I also felt like I was in that socialite lifestyle, not so much modeling. It was more like Hollywood, real estate, but going to all the parties, going to everything. And then, there was such a cognitive dissonance that started to become so unrecognizable and unavoidable.
Mhm.
Um, and I realized later that my psychic abilities, you're more of a channel, or that's how you present yourself. I present myself more as a psychic and energy sensitive person, but that started to come in during that time, and I realized I was blocking it. Did you go through something similar, or do you feel like you kind of had space in between the two identities?
Is a constant, like which direction we're focused in, right? And so we are our own block. I tell people that there's like tunnel vision. There's Serena's perspective. It's like I see what Serena wants to see, right? What I've been programmed to see, let's be honest, what I want to see too, right? And so therefore I will block. But when I'm channeling is when I'm breathing and grounding and opening from Serena into the expansion of the conscious connection of all that is. I dissolve the ego and open my heart, and that's where the frequency comes in. So I definitely flow between, that's why I say Serena and Serenity, because I started channeling here like almost 9.5 years ago now, here in Tulum. And it was like really weird when it happened, right? I was just like, what is this? No, what's this voice? My best friend had just died. She's my soul sister, same birthday, 9 years older. And she was in a coma. And I flew to Texas while she was in her coma. And I said, you can't leave me. We're not done yet. And I just heard her voice really loud in my head. It's like, don't tell me what to do. And I was like, so I see now later that she opened the pathway and for
Mm,
the voice to start communicating with me. And,
okay.
and then it was telling me, you're going to see this person and just things over the years. I never tried to define it. I never tried to
Hmm.
look for it. It just came in when it wanted to, you know.
Hmm.
So eventually showed me that that is Serenity, which is my evolved self, my highest frequency, maybe not highest, but higher frequency self that's here to guide me in truth and wisdom. And so we all have one, right? We all have
Yes.
evolved self. And it's just about, like you said, getting out of our own way with the blocks and just surrendering to evolving with that, which getting uniting with our luminescent full vibration is we're going to have layers of darkness, layers of shadows, layers of programs, right? That we get to
Hmm.
work through. That is the journey of our video game. So yes,
Yes.
we
Yes.
all
Yes. So thank you for sharing that personal moment of your, your channel kind of being open. Was there any other inner awakening that really started to shift your path? Any other personal, specific journey of awakening that you want to share?
Mm, I have many because it's just, I can be a very intense person, so intensely open and intensely closed, right? It's my energetic field. One comes to mind. I don't know if I should. Well, I guess it's legal now, but I was with my Scorpio sisters in Palm Springs for our birthday trip, and we decided to do a ceremony, ritual of mushrooms, Niños Santos, and our frequency, the three of us, we're all Scorpios. They're therapists. I'm coach. Is just such an open mind, open heart, like mirror together, and that was a profound. Like I remember in that experience, opening up to, I just saw colors and numbers, and I was like crying, and I was like, this is like the unconditional love and compassion. Like it was so imploding throughout my heart. So
Mhm.
I would definitely, mark that as one of my most profound experiences. I've had quite a few, but it's in the that was a long time ago.
Yeah. And what was the takeaway there?
That that just the takeaway was that there's so much numerical sequences in the universe. Yeah,
Okay.
I saw a lot of how all of this that makes sense. There's a grand pattern, a grand puzzle of creation that when we opened our mind and our heart to the universal knowledge and the divine wisdom in the heart, that it will show itself unto us. It will reveal itself,
Hmm.
the Akashic records, the universal consciousness, and even more importantly, that was all from the heart. And it was like not to piss anybody off, but I felt like how Jesus had felt so much love, so much
Yeah.
compassion for our for everything. So
Yeah.
it's
I'm
just
glad you're mentioning that right now because I was just getting ready to ask you about what the heart frequency is to you.
mm,
And that's a
well,
good example.
yeah, it's pretty powerful. So when I actually moved to Hawaii, to Maui, yeah, later, and I worked with a Sufi master in the mountains, a couple of the Kula of Maui for a couple years. And she was a Sufi master of the deep heart and attended the Universal University of Spiritual Healing and Sufism, which is where I went after because I was like, this is amazing. Um, and it was upon working with her in the deep heart where it's just energy about inviting your heart to open and allowing, this is the Holy Spirit, right? This is where the light of source enters, is in the heart chakra. And that's why Jesus says, I'm in your heart. It's the Holy
Mhm.
Spirit enters the heart. So it's expanding over the couple of years I worked with here there. I started to feel pain, sometimes opening the heart because my heart was
Okay.
closed. And what it did, Vanessa, was it started to show me experiences I've had. I guided the light into my heart and down into my subconscious, this is the humanity, right? Our three lower chakras. This is our human design, how we are, our programming, our stories, our patterns, all the things that come from our upbringing or even our ancestors, right? So I started to see stories and how when I upped my frequency with the light of divine creator, that they were misperceptions. And I brought in, so I illuminated the holes, the voids in my subconscious, in my physical body, right? The dark spaces.
Mm.
And I illuminated them with truth and love and light. And I filled them with unconditional love just from breathing, surrendering, crying, all the things. But it showed me the story and it also showed me the truth. And that's when I was like, okay,
Mm.
I need to go to this school, because I was like, there's before that I had gone to Psychic Horizons, which is a clairvoyant school in San Francisco. And I just don't like, for me, it didn't work for me to put my emphasis on other people's energy and so show them what I'm seeing. Because what if my humanity comes in, the reflected reality comes in, and I'm tainting their story with my mirror? So
Mhm.
that just didn't feel right to me. But this school was like my next journey. So
Beautiful.
and that school is all about the heart frequency, and going beyond form. And Sufism is about embracing all religions, because all guides and enlightened beings say the same thing in a different way. And people fight when they put emphasis on the form and the story. It's like, no, it's not about the story and the form. It's about the underlying message from the heart that they all carried, right?
Hmm.
And we get outside of our own way, again, our blocks of what we think we know and what we see, how we think things should be, and the emphasis of control, we allow the truth to into our vessels and show us and illuminate us. So
In a time where a lot of people are experiencing chaos, whether it's collective, external, internal, emotional, mental, like I think everyone has some level that they're navigating, right? How can that heart frequency or anything that you just previously described help us navigate the chaos?
well, first and foremost, I'd like to say the choice is ours. Again, which direction we want to focus on. It's nobody, we are responsible for our happiness or our misery. And that, I know people don't like this word, but it comes with a lot of surrender. And
Yeah.
but again, in the grandeur of things, we are tiny little specks in the universe, and the illusion of control is popping off, right? You know, we can control how we see things and how we feel about things, and we can control our actions in this moment. But ultimately, we can't prepare for what is and what was, and all of this future and past stuff is what's causing us so much misery and chaos. When a lot of people, including myself at times, and my daughter, I'm trying to teach her Vipassana, how to be present. You know, it's not, let's not remember the past. Oh, what about this? Or fear the future. There's only here and now. And I know that that sounds, it's like, yeah, that sounds true, but it's another thing to talk the talk and walk the walk, right? There's just like, again, that captain and crew of the ship. It's like we have to, you know, take accountability and be like, okay, what's the worst that can happen right now? I mean, I'm breathing. I'm lucky and blessed enough to have all my limbs. All of the blessings that we have. Can we focus on those, or do we focus on the chaos? And there's the bigger thing in collectiveness is, and I had this because channeling is it's a burden and a blessing to see the things that I've seen and know the things that I know. And when I was in Argentina in the church, I was just crying because I just come back from my first Egypt retreat, and I've met a lot of people in Palestine, and my heart just broke for all of that happened. It was just like so emotional for me because, like you, I'm a very empathic person, triple water sign. I feel everything, and that's probably why I channel so deeply. But I was just like in the church with my family and kind of crying. I was like, what do I do with all this, God? Like, like what? Why do I have these blessings and I can't do nothing about it? And I got the most beautiful blessing because this strong voice, kind of like when my best friend was in the coma, strong voice came over me and was like, who do you think you are? You're not God. Trust in my divine plan and let this genocide play out. Take care of you, your family, and your tribe. And I was like, whew, it was like, it still get
I have
chills
chills.
because it was so powerful and profound. And every time I get worried about all this stuff and I try to control, because we are all connected, right? And we can feel and we can choose not to feel. But I think what's more powerful is surrendering to the divine plan of creation
Mm,
and do while doing the best we can, you know, and holding the universal laws of integrity, reflected reality. I am you, you are me. What I do to you, I do unto myself, right?
mhm.
How do I just find my truth, remove shame and guilt and all of this judgments from that they put on from the past, but live an authentic true life, and plug in my gifts for the rest of the world to plug in theirs. Really,
Yeah.
that's the evolution we're heading to. That's what I want for my children and the rest of our planetary family. That's my prayer for humanity.
Yes. Do you see similar gifts in your children?
Well, right now they're kind of calling them burdens, right? um, because they're not understanding who they are quite yet. And there's a lot of expectation to be and fit the mold, right? Be the sheeple,
Mm.
and them be having such a different mom. I say weird because I love that word. People are like, you're not weird. I'm like, yes, I am. A friend of mine told me that it means faith in Celtic. So I'll just go with that. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, it's different it's hard to stand alone and stand in your truth when the rest of society is following what they're told and manipulated with, you know. But I'm so grateful that there's a lot of things illuminating, a lot of truth coming out, and people, but this is also causing a lot of chaos because people are, oh, well, that I don't follow that direction. Who am I and where do I go? What do I want? There's a lot of breaking open from the matrix. You're like, oh my God. So where do I go from here? And that journey is different for all of us. Right.
Mm.
I tell people it's like one big labyrinth, and the destination is similar at the end, but everyone's journey to get there is going to be different. So
Yes, absolutely. How do we reclaim our light, our power, and our unique essence?
I would say first, right, you have to be honest with yourself. And that is vulnerable. You know, it's even for us, like coming out of LA or this kind of environment, and like not being perfect, showing our like crying, asking for help, these kinds of things that are very hard to do. That's, I would say that's the first step. Because coaches and therapists, like I hate when I say this, but we're just mirrors. We don't know your life. Nobody knows your life but you. We ask the right questions, hold a place of unconditional love and acceptance for you to find the answers. Yet, this is why I founded the nonprofit, is because what if we could just educate each other on how to do that? How to hold
Mm,
space with the universal laws. We are all connected, reflected reality, and loving communication with the three chakras, right? Like, boom, root. At the root chakra, we all belong. We're all safe. We're all connected. Second chakra, reflected reality. I am you, you are me. And third is loving communication. So this is the Trinity, the mindfulness, awareness, and then observation, because you can't see the label when you're in the jar. You need someone to help us, and you don't want to talk to people that are judging you and, condemning you. You want to talk to people that will listen and get you and can give you good feedback.
right, right. What do you think is, there's so many challenges, but if you can narrow it down to one or two, what are some of the most relevant challenges right now for people stepping into their light or accessing their abilities or even their heart space?
Well, it is breaking from the illusions and the past programs from which we have been living for so long, and it's only valid, like, it's like a computer, and you have all these viruses. It's functioned this way for so long, and you're just going to go delete everything and reprogram. What do you put new in there? Where do I go? Who am I? What do I
Mhm.
want? What if I'm changing careers? Like, my daughter gave me this ring. It's moldavite, and the woman who she bought it from said, "Your whole life might change." Mine did. Like, I lost my job, my husband, my house. But that's the kind of change that it takes courage, and it's about getting excited about the new adventure, what's new for us, because we are capable humans and we have so much. You have a light. That's time to find it and discover who you really are, not who you've been told to be and who not to be, but who you want to be now. This is evolution. This is plugging in your truth, your light, right? Your authenticity. And I tell a lot of people that usually who you are when you come here. Like, who were you at 5, right? What was your beautiful gift that you were so passionate about? Like, Deepak says, it's like, what would you do if you had all the money in the world, right? What would you do? The time stands still that you just love to do. Reclaiming your gifts that you came here to shine. It's like one big light bright game. We all
Mhm.
have special gifts to plug into this puzzle, right? And
Mhm.
finding them is about forgetting who you've been. And so that's not easy. I'm not going to downplay it at all. And that's
Mhm.
why having community and support and guidance and loving yourself and knowing, like, a lot of people don't want to change because they're like, well, that's wrong. This is right. Because of the programming, it's really hard to shift that. So going to the heart and filling your vessel up with unconditional love from source, feeling, I don't know if how many people are parents or whatever, but having that love that you have for your child or your family, intensify that like a millionfold. That's how much
Mm.
love creator and creation has for us to find our truth, to live our truth. We deserve it. Just
Yes. Yeah,
forgotten.
that love is so magical. Like you could access it at any time. And you can, like Serenity said, it doesn't have to be one particular person. You can think about your child, your dog, your grandma, like whoever it is, we have all experienced love. I do believe that, and people don't like when I say that because they're like, you don't know my life. And I'm like, I don't. I'm
Yeah.
just a mirror. I'm right, but I do know the human experience, and even if it was short-lived, we all have a memory that we can access. So accessing that is so important. And I'll add to everything you just said. You said so many good things, but for anyone listening to this, if you're thinking like, how do I access more of my light? How do I access more of my truth? It's that love frequency that Serenity just mentioned. Like you could access it at any time, and you can expand it, and you could put it around you. You could fill it up your house. Serenity's at this beautiful place in Tulum where I'm at. I mean, I'm not at the
I
same
can't
building, but
believe you're here. That's so
yeah,
crazy
I
too.
know. We'll have to get smoothies, or I mean, I'm
Yeah.
booked up today, but we'll figure it. You're going to be here a while, I think, right?
Yeah.
A week, something like that.
Uh, I go to Egypt on the 9th, but yes.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Plenty of time, plenty of time. But yeah, you could fill up your whole, like if you're like at an Airbnb like Serenity is right now, you could fill up that whole entire backyard with that light and just play around with it, and it will change your vibration. It will, within you and without you, and outside of you as well. So I love that. I want to see what your vibe is. Do you want to channel a short message? Have you been channeling this whole time? Do you want to, like, should we dive into that a little bit, or we can keep flowing with conversation?
Oh yeah, no, I've been going back and forth between my story and that's why I close my eyes a lot, is because I'm just like that. I am it's tapping into my heart. Hmm. My message, our message is that you're not alone in this chaos right now. The, there's been a lot of light coming onto the planet, and it's pushing the darkness from within for us all to look at. And it's scary. You're not alone. It feels like so many people are alone right now and scared and this change. Yet it's important to know you're not alone. This is part of the process of evolution, the burning through the fire to rise into the phoenix. And just come back to your heart and know that you are here. You came to be here. You chose to be here in this time now. So nothing is too hard for us to go through. And we go through it better, united, to reach out to whatever you helps you feel safe, whether it be your family, your friends, or just nature or your pet. But go in with courage and light and know that this too shall pass. The other side, we have a glorious new earth ready to begin, ready to be born, and it is birthing. So we've got this, family. You are unconditionally loved by Source and all creation. So unconditionally love and accept yourself. It starts there.
Beautiful. Thank you, thank you. And what I love about receiving channeling from other people or even myself is that there's so much happening in the frequencies behind those messages, within those messages, that bypasses the conscious mind, right?
Mhm.
And our conscious mind hears the words that make sense to us. So this is for anyone, if you're new to listening to channeled messages, I invite you and you can always replay what Serenity just transmitted, is I invite you to, yes, of course, listen to the words because our brain can't help it, but also see if you can listen to the frequency being transmitted, because that was a beautiful, beautiful frequency behind that. So thank you.
Thank you. I mean, like you said before about the heart, there is the knowledge which is already got telepathy figured out. And that's also, we won't even go into that. That's just a lot. And it's not necessary. What is necessary is understanding that when we are first developing in our mother's womb, what is the first thing that we have? We have our heartbeat is the first thing to develop, right? So the heart is the most powerful frequency. And a lot of us all too often get really caught up in the mind. And this is part of, I would say, the level of the video game, right? Because, as we evolve through the video game, things get a little tougher, but as came through, we are all chose to be here now. So we're all energy that's very stubborn, but very strong, right? We all are soft and balanced. So everybody holds a different, beautiful frequency of this puzzle. And it's important for us to find that frequency that we all have. And, just kind of really coming back to our own space. Myself, I've been taking a lot of time. I love to be around people. Yet right now I'm choosing to really just be around in my own energy. And I'm listening, and my intuition has gotten a lot stronger just moment to moment, yet being tested, right? Being tested. And I'm, all right, this is a test. Okay. And it's just what are you listening to? Are you listening to your internal guidance? Or are you listening to the mind? Because the mind is like the new puppy that's like running around everywhere, like chewing shoes, and you're like, wait, come back here. No. So let's just cuddle the inner puppy, right? The little puppy, just cuddle it, breathe with it, and tell it that you'll let it go crazy later. So take that time to be with yourself, whatever that looks like, because people love different types of meditation, or even just stillness, or just self-love, right? Whatever name you want to give it, right? So just quieting the puppy and coming back to the heart in the present moment.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that mind, when the mind is kind of looping or dominating your energy or dominating your thoughts and overpowering your heart, that's one sign that you can, be intentional about coming back to your heart. Are there any other signs of us feeling it's the illusion of it's not really happening, but are there any other signs of the illusion of being disconnected from our heart space besides that mind spinning around? Anything else that you could think of?
Oh yeah, usually if you get triggered by something someone does, someone you care about, you feel betrayed, you feel hurt, you feel taken advantage of. These are all things that are, because like you said, there's a lot of chaos currently. People are in their own space, and they're not really aware and about what they're doing to other people, or or they just like me need to take space for themselves. And I'm usually very, so sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm busy right now, and people that know me are like, wait, you're not here for me? Like, I need to be here for me. So because of this, it's really what it's doing is it's triggering the inner child. It's triggering the abandonment. It's triggering all of these stories that we fed ourselves. So it's giving us, again, another opportunity to level up and evolve through that program. And again, this is where, okay, identifying this is imperative, because if you don't know, then you kind of get stuck in that inner child, and you're like, oh, well, everybody just doesn't care about me right now, or whatever the story is, right? It's like, I'm alone, and okay, all right, that's fine. Feel that. I'm the one to say, first and foremost, feel your emotions. When you're done feeling sorry for yourself, you're done feeling like the victim, however long that takes, up your frequency, connect with nature, whatever brings you solace, whatever you love to do as a child, whether hiking, going to the beach, whatever, so you can be still in that moment and listen from within. You might just see the truth behind the illusion, the program, the inner child story. You might just see that with an elevated frequency as your adult self here and now, and be like, oh, okay, that's what that was. They weren't trying to hurt me. I'm not alone. They weren't neglecting me. These kinds of things can come in. The truth only comes in when you're able to elevate the frequency from the frequency that created the story. Makes sense?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for that. And do you have a message for people who are feeling lost in today's current global shifts? You gave a beautiful example of how you were really feeling, like the heaviness of what was going on in another part of the world at that particular time. So of course, we've been talking about heart frequency. You guys I know you guys are like understanding everything we're saying, but is there anything else for those who are feeling lost right now?
Again, this might not work with some people because people really want to have control of their realities right now. But for me, what worked is surrender.
Okay.
Surrendering to something bigger than yourself. And what that and what like let's get like scientific and realistic for a minute, right? Like if you take the science behind that, this desire to control and need to know everything and fix everything is so grandeur. It's our ego, right? Our ego, I need to survive. I will fix this. And but the reality is, again, like, who are you? Your human avatar will cease to exist, right? You have this meat suit has an expiration date, and you're a tiny, tiny, insignificant speck in the universe. So what are you focusing your energy and this life on? On evolving your energy for when your story's over? Or are you focused on the material world that will cease to exist for you?
Mm.
Because let's look at it logically. It doesn't make sense. We're again, I'm nothing and everything simultaneously. So in the surrender, you find the wholeness, the fulfillment, the grandeur of everything. In the
Yeah.
mind, in the ego, in the control, it's like it's always everything is introverted, you know? It's
Right.
very weird, but everything is introverted. What's real is expansion, right? And
Yes.
in the mind, not expansion of the mind, but surrender of the mind and expansion of the heart.
Beautiful. I love that. So as we come to a close, I would love to hear about the journey to remembering in Egypt for the equinoxes.
Yeah. So that was an event channel. I get these messages and I just say yes because only in the surrender will I understand why, you know? And usually it's a very big surrender. But that's my video game. And so I channeled this like 3 years ago, and it was like, okay, it's to surf this tidal wave of frequency into the Great Pyramid on the equinox. And once I said yes, I started to see how, oh my God. So now, like, this was before I knew anything about the Great Pyramid being used as a technical tool for, to attain conscious connection, the Akashic record, the great I am consciousness.
Mhm.
And then recently they've been digging up, and I'm like, I don't know why Egypt, but we went, and the thing is, and it was beautiful. It was very powerful. Yet what I realized, and this is why I'm proceeding with a 6-week Trinity of Truth pre-course, is what I realized is that people need to learn to surf before, surfing the grand tidal wave of frequency. So you if you want to attain the magic and mystery and wonder that is there for the taking, for the receiving, sorry, taking, not the word, receiving, you need to learn how to surrender and work through the veils of illusion. So the inner child will come up, the insecurities, all of these things, all of these dark veils. As you're rising your frequency of light through, you're going to be hit the veils of darkness, and you have to have the tools in order to work through them. So it's a very intentional journey, and in March. So what I've received is that I'm surrendering. I am yeah, anyways, I won't go into that. We're gonna
Mhm.
focus on the March one, the March journey
Mhm.
with Megan Hillier, who is an amazing goddess from New Zealand with Mind Valley, and doing goddess initiations in the Isis temple, and it's in 11 days.
Beautiful.
I'm very excited. Yet we will be having a Trinity of Truth pre-course, mind, body, spirit, of how people can learn to observe themselves and up their frequency, learn, mindfulness, a key aura, here and now, awareness, reflective reality, and observation, so
Mm.
outside the box. And so it's important to bring in these tools when you're learning to evolve your frequency. And yeah.
Yeah, so beautiful. So please connect with Serenity if you are feeling alignment, if her energy and her message is resonating with you. We have all of her info in the description. One of her quick websites is Serena Gentry, GENTRY.com. There's some other links there, Instagram and Facebook. So connect with her. Any other last short words of wisdom to leave us with, something short and sweet and powerful or beautiful?
Just have fun.
Yes, I
Just
love
have
that.
fun. We come here to be free and have fun and live our best life with respect for ourselves, each other, and the planet. So let's
Beautiful. I love that. Namaste, everyone. Have a great day.